Hey, I'm Nick from Ingram Audio, and this is my new drum library, the Producer Kit. What makes the Producer Kit different from the original Drum Daddy and other drum libraries is these were samples that I made over the years and I used on many records. I spent a lot of time mixing and really tweaking these samples, making them perfect. As cheesy as it sounds, these samples really were my secret weapon. And one of my goals when I was putting these samples together and turning it into a drum library was I wanted to make sure that the library actually was mixed and ready to go out of the box. That's why I included 8 mix presets in the Producer Kit. So I'm going to start by listening to some of these mix presets, and then I'm going to go through and show you guys all the controls and everything that the Producer Kit does. So I got my contact player open. I'm going to load up one of the Producer Kit mix presets. I'm going to start with the Daddy Kit. I'm going to open up the Modern Rock mix preset. This is one of my favorites in the library. We're going to listen to the Tight Rock Kit. All right, let's open one that isn't so, I guess, rock or hard rock or aggressive. I'm going to open up the Chill Kit. Here's the Pop Rock Kit mix preset. Okay, now let's listen to the 2001 Pop Punk Kit mix preset. This is my favorite one because I wanted to make this mix preset sound like the drums on my favorite Blink record, Take Off Your Pants and Jacket. And then this is the Modern Pop Punk mix preset. And if you don't want to use one of the mix presets, there is a default kit in there that doesn't have any of the processing or any of the mixing controls turned on. Everything's just turned off and flat. And this is the default kit preset. So let's dive on in and let's start clicking around. So this is it. We got a drum kit sitting here in my room. There's 2 buttons at the bottom, one for the kit view, which is gonna pull up the view of the kit, and then there's a Midi remap, which the Midi remap pulls up all the controls to change what Midi notes trigger the sample. And there's 2 ways you can do that. You can change each drum and cymbal individually and make your own custom Midi map by selecting one of the menus and then choosing which Midi note to set it to. Or you can use one of the built-in MIDI maps that are included in the menu on the left. And that includes the default, which is the MIDI map when you just open it. There's the Easy Drummer, which is also Superior Drummer MIDI map. Get Good, Halpern, and Invasion. And then General MIDI, which is going to be your most standard MIDI map. And then to get back to just the kit view, you can either click the button or you can just click anywhere behind the drum kit, whether it's the wall or the floor or the rug. You can click there or over there. It doesn't really matter. You can click anywhere. And to pull up the controls for each drum and cymbal, all you have to do is just click on whichever one you want to control. Let's start with the snare drum. I've got my snare selected. And at the top here, it pulls up 3 channels, which is your snare direct, your snare overhead, and your snare room. And all of the shells and most of the cymbals are going to be the same setup of 3 channels. The only 2 that are different are the crashes, because the crashes don't have a direct microphone. So on the 2 crashes, you notice it's just an overhead and then a room, because like I said, there was no direct microphone on the crashes. The microphones on the crashes, the main ones, the direct ones technically, were just the 2 overhead mics. But all the other drums have the same 3-channel system going on because they have a direct, overhead, and a room. And each channel in the producer kit includes a 4-band EQ. You got your low mids, high mids, and then your high frequency band. And then you have your power button for the EQ, so you can turn it off and on and get a comparison with it on or off. And then you have your pan and your pitch, master fader, your solo, your mute, your phase invert, and then you have your output menu, which lets you route each of these individual channels into any track in your DAW. That way you can use your own plugins, automate it any way you want that way. And on the left of all of these channels, you have the attack, the hold, and the decay. And then you have the girth, stank, and attack sliders, which if you've used the original Drum Daddy, you're probably really familiar with these controls because they were included in the original Drum Daddy. I really like what these controls do. They really change the drum so much. I had to include them, and I probably will in every drum library I make. And you don't just have these controls for just the direct channel, because as you can see here, it says direct. If you go over to the overhead or the room channels and you click on them, it'll pull up those same controls for those individual channels. And on the snare page, you notice there's a menu up here. That is because the producer kit includes 3 snares that you can choose from and 2 kicks. Let me turn these settings off because I am on a mix preset. So these are turning off all these controls. So now it's just going to sound normal. And this is what snare 1 sounds like. These are kind of loud too. This is what snare 1 sounds like. Snare 2. And then snare 3. Which snare 3 is probably my favorite. I'm going to turn these back on. And then for the kick drums, like I said, there's 2 kicks to choose from. Turn all these off. I think it's good. This is kick 1. That's kick 1, and then we got kick 2. Then we got a rack tom, floor tom, and the rack and the floor tom and all the cymbals are going to include a left and right swap button on the overheads and the room channels. That way, it just makes it a little easier if you want to flip-flop the whole kit into a different perspective. I'll solo the floor tom channel and show you what it does exactly. This is with the left-right swap turned off. Notice the floor tom is on your right side. Turn on left-right swap. It's now over there. And those are included on the toms and all the cymbals. I'm going to loop a beat, and then I'm going to kind of go over what some of these controls do, because I want to show you the Girth, Stank, and Attack specifically. So right now, I have the Girth, Stank, and Attack turned on for the direct microphone, but everything is turned down that would be changing the tone. I'm going to just play this beat, and I'm just going to kind of move these sliders and kind of show you what they're doing and explain them. I'm going to start with the Girth slider, which is going to add a lot more body and just low presence to it. And then down at the bottom, I have my output, which is to adjust the level of the channel I'm adjusting, because when I start turning these 3 sliders, it's going to get louder. So I'm going to want to be adjusting this as I'm turning these. And then just below the Girth is my Stank slider, which is going to bring more ring, almost like it's compressing the sample a little bit more. And then I got my Attack, which will bring more attack to the drum sample. And when you start using these sliders on the overhead and the room channels, it can really change the sample a lot. Go over to the overhead. I'm going to start by turning these down and then turning this on so it's on but not doing anything. And then I'm just going to adjust probably just the Girth and the Stank for the snare overhead. Just kind of bring out more of that room. And if I feel like it's getting a little too ringy, I can then use the Attack, the Hold, and the Decay on that overhead to kind of fade it out a little sooner. And I can even take that a step further and add that to the snare room. Let's kind of see what that does. I'll probably only mess with 2 knobs again. Give it a little stank. Now let's listen to it with all that stuff I just did to the snare. And I don't just use these Girth, Stank, and Attack controls on just the shells. I use them on all of the cymbals. The mix presets in Drum Daddy essentially are just utilizing the controls that are already there, which is mostly the Girth, Stank, and Attack and the EQ. That's how much the Girth, Stank, and Attack really can affect the drums. On the Daddy Kit mix preset, I'm using the Girth, Stank, and Attack on, I'm pretty sure, all the cymbals, which is making it just kind of sound more chopped through a little bit more. It's really the only way I can describe it. It's like a chop sound. So if I turn it off, okay, and then I hit them, it's almost more washy and not as percussive, I should say. So we'll turn those back on. It just really made it just more percussive. So you can really do a lot with just those 4 little sliders right there. That's why I really liked them, and I really had to include them into this library. But that's pretty much all I have to say right now. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed.